What is going on, guys? Today we are going to put a different coolant tank in the Shelby. So Roush actually makes a tank that is 3 times the capacity of the factory tank. It's going to be very minor changes, but what I've seen online is people have done some testing. They say 8 to 10 degrees on average lower intake air temperatures. So anything will help. These cars are notorious for heat soaking, so it's got to help a little bit. Let's get into it. So you can just see the difference. This is the Roush tank. Once again, about 3 times the capacity of that little factory tank. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this process is going to take. I've heard you have to trim this hose, so we'll see. But then the bottom line that comes off of this, it's kind of hard to see, but right there is the hose goes into the side. Whereas if we look at this one, it comes straight off the bottom. So I'm not sure what this is going to take, but let's get into it and find out. Step 1, we just need to suck all the coolant out of this tank that we can, so when we take our hoses off, we don't make a mess. Now I just got to get my clamps off both my hoses. Single bolt holds this thing down. Get it pulled off of there, see what it's going to take to get that new one on. So, got the new one set in there. You can already tell we're going to need some things to make this work. So it still does set down here in that factory mount, but our hose that came in from the side, we have to make a 90 over to the bottom of that tank. So I think I'm going to need to get 90-degree molded hose to be able to make that work. This one on top is going to need trimmed. Basically I could just cut it about right there, slide it on there, and we'll be good to go there. Now I'm a stickler for always being able to go back to factory if I want, so I think I'm going to see if I can buy one of these hoses. So if I want to go back to that factory tank at some point, I can. Probably a waste of money, I'll probably never do that. But I'd like to have that option. The bottom, I think I can get a male-to-male union and a 90. And then once again, if I ever want to go back, I just take my 90 and my union off. That hose will still plug right into my factory tank. After doing a little research, this hose is actually discontinued now. So I really don't want to cut this one up. Like I said, I want to be able to go back to the factory tank if I want to. So I did a little homework, did some digging, came up with this hose here. So that is actually the hose I'm going to use for this application. Take this one off, save it with my factory tank. Then on my line over here, I've come up with a 3/4 inch barb. We'll slide into that. Then an elbow slide on there, and then this will go to the bottom of my tank. I will throw links to all of this stuff down in the description if you're interested. So I'm going to get this tank up out of the way so we can get this line off and we can get our barb put down in that bottom hose. So I think I'm going to start by I got my clamps moved over. I'm gonna put this side on the tank. I think I'll actually put my little hose off the bottom of this as well, so then I can just do the union down on the vehicle. Your clamp slid down in place, that side's ready. And then, again, just gonna do the exact same thing for this hose here on the bottom. Use the factory clamp on the tank itself. Make sure I have it orientated the right way. That looks pretty good. So here we go. We've got our hoses off both sides of the tank. We're going to have to use this union down here on the bottom to connect this hose to the factory hose. And then I've got just a couple clamps to go on each side of that union. Now I would like to do something better than these clamps. I don't really like the way they look, but I couldn't find 3/4 inch spring clamps locally. So these will do for now, and maybe at some point I'll follow up and make a change. I'm gonna get it started in this hose first, just so we don't have to fight with this once that tank's down in the way. Now we're going to see if we can get this tank put down in place. I think that worked out about perfect. Got our connection down there. And then we have got our line on that side. Perfect size, perfect fit. Now we've just got to get our bolt put in, and that installation is done. Get it filled up, start the thing up, make sure we don't have any leaks. Now we just got to fill this thing up and test it for leaks. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. It's a pretty easy update to do, fairly inexpensive. Not going to make a huge difference, but a little bit extra coolant can go a long way, especially on a hot day. If you guys found this helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time.